Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid. Today I'm going to be showing you how to change a passenger front window regulator on an E46. It's going to be an identical process for the driver's side window regulator, and you'll be able to just use what you see in the front to do a back window regulator if you need to do that. It's basically the same, only it's just a smaller window regulator, but all the steps are the same and the tools are the same. Oh, and speaking of the tools, let's take a look at the tools you're going to need for this job. Okay, so you are going to need a T20 torque socket, which is here. You're going to need a T30 torque socket right here. You're going to need an 8mm nut driver, preferably 1/4-inch version. The 3/8 version actually is too big to fit in where this needs to go, so you're going to need a 1/4-inch version of that. You're going to need one of these tools. This is basically a door trim remover tool. It's made out of hard plastic so that it won't, scratch or mar the leather and stuff. And you're going to need a 10mm socket to disconnect the airbag and the window regulator as well. You're also going to need a new window regulator. And I would recommend a pair of gloves so that you don't get things dirty. Step 1, disconnect the negative terminal to your battery like you see I've done here. You don't want your battery connected when you remove the airbag. We're going to use the plastic trim tool to pull off this trim here. And already we can see 1 and 2 screws. There's also a screw hidden behind this little trim panel here. On the driver's side, this will be the mirror switch. So we just remove these things, set them aside. There are these little caps under here for 2 screws. Usually just get them with your fingernail, yeah. You may or may not have these caps if your window regulator has been changed before. I happen to have them on this side because I think it's never been done. So here you get your T20 screwdriver. In my case, I'm using this to make things faster. And this bottom one can be hard to get at with that driver, so it's at a kind of an awkward angle. Okay, so now we use our trim tool to kind of pop the door card away from the door. You gotta reach on the back here and just pull this cable forward. What I did was I pulled it from the back and popped it out of the door latch that way. And now we can see where the 2 speakers are connected. In my case, I've got aftermarket speakers, but you would just disconnect this from the speaker terminal. I need to remember which way mine go. The blue with the red is for the red. And here we just disconnect that. So now you've got your door card disconnected, and I'm going to set this in a safe place where it won't get any dirtier than it already is. I think the top of the door, or the top of the car, is good for me right now. So I was wrong. Somebody has been in here before, and it looks like they kind of mangled the this combination weather stripping and soundproofing material. What you should do is pull it away from the car like this around the edge where it's glued in. Okay, see there's this black gooey stuff. This stuff is reusable if you kind of peel it away like this because it'll stick back to itself. So you'll notice that right here, This is one of the pre-cut seams in the original material, and that's where the wiring is supposed to go, basically. So BMW did that for you, and just make note of the way yours looks, because I don't think they put mine back the way it came. So yeah, you can peel it down till you're basically at this point here, because you just need to open up this cavity down here in order to get the window regulator out. One thing I do want to point out is the airbag is supposed to be in front of this thing, not behind it. So that was actually bad. That was not the way it was supposed to be reinstalled there. So you actually do need to remove the airbag before you can even remove this thing. And you just remove the connector from the back of it like this. Might need a screwdriver to help you pop it off. And secure it in there. Store the airbag face up somewhere safe if it accidentally goes off. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the motor. You can see that my cable is already kind of bird's-eyed or bird's nested underneath the regulator right here. Just got to remove these 3 T30 screws. You got to twist the motor this way in order to get it out. And this is difficult because of where the regulator has failed. One of my issues might be this cable here, or this power plug right here. So I'm going to disconnect it like that. You just press the top, comes right out. Now let's see if I got a little more room. Okay. Yeah, it was just all bound up inside there, but normally that should be real easy to come out. I'm going to go ahead and remove this part from the door just so I can get the soundproofing all the way off. You don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. I could, I could do the rest of it with it still attached, but I'm going to do this so that you guys get the best view of everything. And so something interesting that I can now see is there is broken safety glass in the bottom of this window, in the bottom of this door here. Somebody broke into this vehicle prior to me owning it. So the person who fixed this wasn't good enough to clean up the mess, which is great. What are you going to do? Now, in order to get the window out, you need to actually move the window regulator up to a certain position. You need to move the window itself up to a certain position, and luckily I'm able to sort of manhandle the window a little bit, but you can see there's one hole right here. Okay, that's where you need to get the there's basically a little clip behind the window regulator that holds it on. And maybe the best way is for me to show you on the new regulator here. So this is what's inside the door right now, right inside here. Okay, if we look on the back of it, you can see that there are these metal clips, and this is what the door is, the window is actually bolted to. There's just a little screw right here, and you can see that these are right in the perfect position so that I can access them through this little hole, to this little slot in the window regulator, and that's basically in line with this hole right here. So that's where you need to get these 2 clips. You need to get the window raised to just a certain position to where you can reach in there with your nut driver and disconnect this. So what happens if your window regulator fails with the window in the up position and you can't get it down for some reason? Well, what I would suggest is that you try to reach in here or reach back here and cut these. They're basically like, the cables you have on your bicycle that go to your brakes. They're just that, and these are the sheet. These are they're a little bit stronger than that. But if you cut above the clip right here, then the clip will just fall down. So if you do that on both sides, cut this wire, cut that wire. If you just kind of reach in behind here, and you'll be able to, because the window won't be in the way, you'll be able to kind of just reach up behind here in the window and just try to cut it with your side cutters. I'm probably going to need to muscle it up a little because it is semi-movable. But I can see that cable has totally come out from the track here. So I'm probably going to cut it. It'd be good if you have side cutting pliers that don't have a little hole in it like mine do. This was cutting a lot of electrical wire. That was fun. And let's see if I can feel the wire on the bottom of the rail. I think I can. I can't get much slack on it, but I have this right here. So I'm going to cut through this. Okay. Now hopefully I can move it. Yay! Look at that. I think we need to be right about there, and I can get at it from right here. Okay? And right through here. You just move it until you can see it. You don't actually need to take it all the way off either. You just kind of need to loosen it. Ooh, this one's really tight on there. Dang. That one I would need a socket to get the proper torque on. So, looks like I need a new tool. Now, to get the window out of here, we're gonna take this trim off. Just kind of pop it out. You can come in here, get the window out. Looks like I didn't disconnect that enough. Fun. That rail does not want to come loose. The bolt's out of it even. There. So the thing about the window is it's actually easier not to remove it from the car. It's easier just to put it up into position with your hands and then put some masking tape over the top of it like this to hold it in place. So now we can get the old regulator out of the frame. So just remove these screws. That. And one of these rails, like this rail, will actually have a little clip that connects through one of these holes that you'll have to push through. I'll show you when I put the new regulator in where it goes. I can't remember, it's either this one or this one, but you'll be able to figure that out. Looks like my window is going to have to come down just a little so I can reattach these screws here to it. This is the little nut for the back, and this is the screw that goes into it. There's a little red clip in the window here, and the nut goes in the back, goes in through the back, and the fastener goes in through the front. So that's actually what it looks like. The nut goes in through the back of the window, and the screw goes in from the front. This little slot right here, that little slot is going to slot right in front of that red clip, and that's kind of how it goes in. All right, time for the new regulator to go in. The problem here is you got to get the regulator in front of the window. There we go. Same thing with this rail. In front of the window. And then it slots in. So because the front of the regulator here is attached at 3 points, there is no adjustment. There's no adjustment in these two lower positions. it can slot up into this top position, but you can't adjust it there. The adjustment actually comes in the back of the regulator. You'll see down here, there's room enough for it to move up and down in that slot. And you'll use that little bit of play to make sure that the window is in the proper position when it's up. It's a little difficult to adjust it when the airbag is back in place with the battery on and everything, but I will show you how to do it with a 10mm wrench. I'm going to use the old, you know, if you use the old positions of the screws, if you're just like changing a window regulator for the first time and you're going with the, an OEM replacement, you can just find your original screw positions and almost certainly you will be in perfect position. Now it is time to connect the window to the new regulator. Now that it's in there, I'm going to take my tape off and just sort of gently lower the window down into place. In order for me to do this properly, I just need to get a bird's eye view of it right here. What I'm doing is pushing that screw out this way so that it falls down over the clip. Again, that red clip that was on the window is going behind that metal clip, and the screw is falling down right in between the cutout in the clip. So now I've done that on the back, I've done that on the front, and I can tighten it up. Not too tight, you don't want to crack the glass. This right here is this is the cable that little black clip is connected to, and I'm going to slide it down. See, it's actually just trapped in my glove. It's actually right here, and it feels like it wants to go right in the top one, right there. So it feels like it wants to go right there. That just holds the cable in the proper position for the proper tension. Now I can put the motor back in. I've gone ahead with my little pocket screwdriver and cleaned out the little splines as best I can. The motor was working just fine, and I believe it still is fine. I'm gonna slot it back in and then turn it up into place like that and reconnect the power cable to it. Those were the T30 screws. You can see I'm being real gentle with my impact driver. Now it's time to put the soundproofing material back on the door. So here I've got it half stuck back to the door already, and the two speaker cables go in this little slot that's cut out right here. That's where the airbag goes. Make sure that this cable is out and able to be reconnected to the door. That's the door unlock cable. Now we need to reconnect the airbag. I'm sure we have at least one screw ready. Probably the top one is better for me. Cool, airbag back where it should be, the way it should be. I'm gonna put my window trim back in. Gonna reconnect. See, this white thing is actually supposed to go, I think, either into the door card or into the door, and I don't remember because mine wasn't put back the correct way, but you know, it doesn't matter too much. So I'm reconnecting that one. You, of course, will plug yours back in, but I need to connect the red to the red, the black to the black in my case. And now you just gotta align all your little clips back where they go. By the way, you might want to have some of these. You might, you know, if you're really that concerned about panel rattling and stuff, you might want to have some of these little BMW door panel clips handy, because you probably are going to break some. They when they're when they're brand new, they break pretty easily, and the reason I don't have any unbroken ones is because this is a collection of ones that somehow were able to be removed without being broken. And once you remove them once, then, you know, they can kind of be reused a couple more times. So remember to reconnect the door unlock cable. You just kind of put it into its slot so that the door handle will work properly. Don't forget to do that. You'll kick yourself. I think I'm going to pop this little black trim piece off the door. It might make it a little easier. For me, anyway. Trick is to find that top rail first. Once you kind of have that, everything should be aligned enough to pop back into place. Should being the operative word. If you just put pressure on it all the way around, you should hear them snap in like you heard mine snap in. And you're almost home free. Put that bottom one in. The long one goes in the front right here. Put our bottom trim back into place. This top trim. Ooh, of course I forgot to show you how to adjust the window. Duh. Hopefully mine's adjusted. Let's go ahead and hook the battery cable back up and we'll see if it is adjusted, and if not, then I guess I'm showing you how. And looks like we're adjusted perfectly. So yay, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not going to show you how to do that, but basically all you would do, it's pretty easy to figure out. You just kind of, you'll be able to get a 10mm wrench in behind the airbag to just loosen the top bolt, and then the bottom bolt on the window regulator is actually just easily accessible the whole time. You can loosen it and adjust it up and down that way, and you'll just want to get it adjusted to where the top of the window isn't popping up, you know, at a cockeyed angle. You just want to get it to where the top of the window seats perfectly. That's it. So now I will put my trim back in. Looks like I took one of these with me. Okay. That looks right. Pop a little top trim piece in. That's it. All right, well, job well done. Here's a couple more tips. Do not reconnect your battery cable with the airbag disconnected. Otherwise, your airbag light will be on your dashboard, and you'll never turn it off. It'll take forever for it to eventually turn off. So just, you know, if you need to reconnect your battery cable to adjust the window up and down, make sure, you know, if you're going to adjust the rail at all or something like that, make sure the airbag's back in there. You can, you know, if you need to, you can loosen the 3 airbag screws just a little bit in order to get some clearance behind it, in order to slip your wrench down behind it and get that top rail bolts loose. if your wrench is a little too thick, and that won't hurt it. Don't worry, you're not going to set the airbag off. But if you're really worried, then just disconnect the negative battery cable each time you try to play with it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And good luck with yours. And thanks for watching.